The new channel. The new channel. Hashtag TNCNow.
The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following shows are those of the host, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Well, hello and welcome to the new channel. Born out of passion, we're a community that helps you be the new you. My name is Mras, and I'm streaming live from the beautiful mountains of Colorado, USA. You are now watching. Welcome to Mental Shift. Good day to the United States and to the Philippines. Magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. Now today, I have this guest with me, and his motto is peace, love, and bring a bat. He's the producer of the coaching and mentoring curriculum that assists you to find time to soar on your path, find resources for empowering personal growth and resilience programs. He is the host of the high-ranking podcast, Peace, Love, and Bring a Bat. Please welcome my guest tonight, David Chametzky.
Hey, how you doing, Michelle?
I'm doing great. Where are you? You in Philly?
I'm not in Philly. I'm actually in North Philly, which is in Long Island in New York City. I always go, Philly is like South Brooklyn, right? We all have the same, we talk like the same, we act the same. It's really one big country.
You have to say it again. Long Island.
Long Island. Yeah, it's Long Island.
I love the accent.
I grew up in Brooklyn, so, you know, it's all part of it. That's why I have some friends in Philly, and they're always like, yeah, that's like South Brooklyn or North Philly. So it depends on how you look at it. We all sound the same.
Well, it's funny to us because, I grew up in the Philippines and then moved to Nebraska. So I went from Philippine accents to no accent at all. And then when I meet people from the East Coast, I really do think all of you sound exactly the same.
Yeah.
And I love it, though, because it's so uniquely, in my mind, what America was. I mean, when I thought America, your accent is what I thought Americans had, all Americans, except for John Wayne.
Yeah, he was a tough guy. But yeah, no, and that's what it is. You know, everybody loves talking. They all go, oh, New Yorkers are rude, until you get to know us. And then it really is, they'll let us read the dictionary. You know, it's really one of those things, the accent, you know, like some places where you go, they really enjoy the accent. And when they get to know you, they love you even more.
Well, because you're so pure, I guess I can say. New Yorkers, they will tell you exactly what's on their mind. There is no fluff. There is no beating around the bush. It's what it is. That's what I've noticed.
For better or for worse. You know, sometimes I've learned how to kind of tailor it back a little bit, but I have some friends who I still go, this is exactly how it is. Do you want the real answer, or do you want the answer you want to hear? Tell me which one you want. I'll give you either one.
See? But that's what I love about you. And I said, you need to come on the show. I met you at the Ultimate Speaker competition in New Philly.
Yeah.
We were in New Jersey, but we
Yeah,
called
yeah.
it Philly because some of us don't understand the East Coast. Because really, if you look at a map, so for those of you who are not in the United States, if you look at the map of the United States, there are a whole bunch of states all kind of cramped up in the top right corner. They're drivable. It's almost like in the Philippines. You just drive to them. They're very quick to get to. And for me, who lives in Colorado right now, where it takes 15 hours to get across just our state, to go from state to state to state in an hour, it's very mind-blowing to me now. So when we were out there, I had no idea where I was. And I was so glad to have met you because you were such a kind soul.
Thank you. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Hold out the map.
Yeah, we had a great time, and we did a little geocaching, or tried to do some geocaching. Yeah,
did.
the great thing about the United States, when you're in a compact area, and for those who aren't familiar with the area of Philly, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, that's the 13 colonies. That's part of the 13 colonies with the history of the United States, and it's really great how you can get there. I live in New York, and it took me 2 hours to get back to Philly. So it really is close. You get to see a whole bunch of different things in different environments, different cultures.
It was beautiful. It was a very neat experience. And then we got to see the Liberty Bell and just all the history that we found in Philly. But what I want to get back to before we have to go to commercial midway is your mental shift. You were something else. And then you decided that you wanted to help other people. You had a mental shift. Will you share that with us? What was that? What happened and what brought you to who you are today?
Yeah, so about 7, 8 years ago, I had gone through a mental shift where I put myself into therapy, and I started learning. Things were clearing for me really quickly, and I asked the therapist why. And one of the techniques he explained was called havening, and it's a worldwide technique. It's a psychosensory touch. When I talk about resetting ourselves with our hands, it creates delta waves, and by doing that, we're able to then change ourselves. So I was using that technique, and eventually I learned it, and I became one of the first 100 people in the world to be certified in it. And it really helps you get through some traumas and many things that you go through to help you reset yourself. And it becomes so much more powerful once you learn all the ideas and all the powerful ways to unleash the power within yourself. So that's what made me start to do that when I started learning that. But the great thing, or not so great thing, is a couple of years ago, even though I was helping people for years, I wasn't helping myself. You need to do it yourself. So self-care, when we talk about mental health and mental shifts, you really need to take care of yourself because it's more about you than somebody else. Because if you're fine, again, like when we have an airplane, what's the first thing they advise you to do? Put the air mask on yourself versus somebody else. And the reason why, because if you don't, you could pass out. So self-care is the most important thing. And I wasn't taking care of myself. And my biggest mental shift 3 years ago is when I tried to kill myself. And what I was told during that period by God, it was an Uncle Mike, Grandpa Mike. That's what they said. But it's not your time, and you need to talk about it more. You need to put yourself out there, and that's where I'm at now, is putting myself out there to talk about our mental issues. That's why I said mental shift. We each need to learn exactly what we need to do to get us through whatever challenges we're going through.
Uncle Mike?
Yeah, Grandpa Mike. And I don't have a Grandpa Mike in my family. So it was I just heard a voice, and they said, it's not your time. And so I said, who are you? And they said, Grandpa Mike. I'm like, I don't have a Grandpa Mike. He goes, just trust me. It's not your time, and you need to go tell people about this story. And that's what I've been doing. I healed myself. I knew the right resources to do. It's like we all have a gym membership, but we don't go to the gym. If you take care of yourself, that self-care is so important. And when you do that, you're able to then help other people. You're able to put that mask on somebody else, because I could teach you exactly, because I know what it feels like to want to be taking your last breaths, but then to now not, And now I don't even think about that. One of the first questions they asked me, another mental shift, do you love yourself? 3 years ago, hey, I had been doing lots of great stuff, but I didn't love myself. I hadn't thought of that. Nobody ever asked me that question. Do you love yourself? I can honestly say right now, I love myself, and I would never ever think of that again. I now have built back all of the resources I needed to and made sure that even though I might every now and then operate with no net, I know how to balance myself properly.
That's fabulous. I mean, I've been there, done that too, where I wanted to take my life and I heard a voice that stopped me. And yeah, I had to find why I loved myself. I had to find all the reasons to love
Sure.
myself. And so many people, I mean, they look at us and we tend to be very happy. If you meet us in person too, we're very happy people. It's because we came to the brink and we were pulled back. And so if you're out there and you're thinking anything like that, thinking that you don't belong or no one loves you, someone loves you. We love you. And you need to pull back because each of us has a reason and a purpose on this planet. And it's our goal. It's what we should be doing is find what that is. My goal and David's goal is to reach out to other people just like you who are wondering, who am I and what am I doing here? And let you borrow our belief in you so that you can go be the best version of you. So David calls his podcast Peace, Love, and Bring a Bat. And it's how he reaches out to people because sometimes we have to be tough in order to protect ourselves and not tough the way you think it is. So David, how did you come up with that name, Peace, Love, and Bring a Bat?
Well, I'm all about spirituality, and that's really what it comes down to. When I talk about peace, love, it's spirituality, it's motivational talking, motivational thinking, and that's really important. But then there's a little perspiration that you have to do. You have to take action in your life. So it's not only motivational and spiritual. We could sit on a mountain, and that's not going to change anything. The bat is not about violence. Please understand that. It's all about taking that swing, hitting that sweet spot, and soaring. But what it is also knowing what your non-negotiables are. Now, anybody who's ever swung a bat, and I taught people, including during that event, how to swing a bat. It's that special energy feeling when you swing a bat the right way and you hit the ball hard. It doesn't have to be a home run. It has to be hitting your sweet spot. And we all have a sweet spot within ourselves. That place that we call home, that place where we call love. And that's the really magic part, is knowing what our non-negotiables are, how to create our boundaries to create that, communicate. All those things are part of our balance, because that's how you swing a bat, is through a lot of balance and having the ability to just knock it out of the park, using some baseball metaphors. But that's what we all want to do in life. We all want to soar. And once you're able to soar, that really doesn't stop anything.
Exactly. Well, and like you said, boundaries. When you came back from the brink, like I pulled back from the brink, one of the first things I had to do was make serious boundaries that were protecting me. But before, I used to think, well, I have to be nice to everybody. And even if they're hurting me, I need to be nice to them because that's what good people do. And I was allowing toxic people to stay near me who made me doubt who I was and why I was here and wondering if I left the negativity around me. But after that incident where I wanted to take my life, I realized these people have to go. I'm already fighting a battle in my head. I don't need the extra voices. So when I saw your Peace, Love, and Bring a Bat, it's like, okay, I love you from afar. I'm going to keep swinging until I get it right. And that's how I saw your, Peace, Love, and Bring a Bat. And I want to say hi to Wan Lu and Helene and Apple and so far. He's on the road. Wan Lu is on the road and he's still talking. And Helene's looking for purple root beer. And I'm pretty sure they have purple root beer somewhere with dye if we go on the East Coast. And thank you, Apple, for watching. Thank you. But really, peace, love, and bring a bat. Life is difficult. Oh, and Brian. Sorry, Brian said, and me. Life is difficult. And sometimes somewhere in our life we thought it was going to be rainbows and butterflies, and that we would never get hurt, and if we got hurt then we were bad people and we didn't deserve love. No, life is difficult, and it doesn't mean that you have to just internalize it all. You need to learn how to push it through and keep moving. It's like being a salmon. You gotta keep paddling up, keep going up that stream, even though it's coming up against you, because on the end, that's your nirvana. I guess we don't want to use salmon as an example, but it's
healthy, right? It's healthy and pushing upstream. That's exactly it. 3 years ago. So I'll tell you, this week you and I haven't spoken that much since. I've been going through a lot of stuff. Even when I was there, if you remember, I had a lot of family, stuff going on and tragedies, and the month of August was horrible for me. But 3 years ago, I could not have handled it. 3 years ago, among the challenges that were setting me off were my dad's death the year before, moving my mom to Houston to live near my sister, and some marital challenges. Well, this past month, I went through double the right after the week afterwards. I had a huge charity event after our event. And then I had to fly out to Houston to take care of my mom, who's in the process of transitioning. And then on top of that, I've been taking care of my friend's mom since February, and she passed away. So the past, 5 weeks since you and I saw each other really have been a lot, but I've got to manage it. There's been 1 or 2 days where I didn't, needed to take that breath, take those boundaries, and say, no, I'm not doing anything today. Those are the things that I might not have been able to do earlier if I hadn't gone through all the other challenges that I've gone through. I've learned how to manage. Learning how to say no is really powerful. And yes, using my havening is amazing. And I love teaching havening and the ability to reset ourselves. That is the most powerful thing to do, is not to go to a therapist, who I highly recommend if you need that. But if you're able to control yourself and reset yourself, that's just as powerful, because you could do it. It's you who want to change your life. And everybody has that ability. That's why one of the programs I talk about, my coaching practice, is called On the Path. And On the Path stands for Personal Attitudes Towards Happiness. It's all about you. And that's, all these little mental shifts that we take. It's all about you, because you could go to anybody you want, but if you don't want to change, you won't change. It's like that quote from Henry Ford: if you say you can or you say you can't, you're right. And the truth is, you have to want to make those changes, and that's that mental shift that you make. And you get to make that shift and begin that journey anytime you want to do that.
Now that the hand thing that you were talking about, do you train that through your website, or is that something that they have to look up? How do you spell that word?
So havening is Havening. There's an organization, but I will teach it. I will show people how to use it. That's usually what I give. 20-minute consultation. I will make sure that everybody leaves with at least their own reset button. It doesn't fix everything that you have. That's a little bit more in depth, because as we all know, we don't have a life full of unicorns and rainbows, but we're able to then overcome some of those less good parts, those clouds that might have caused the rainbows. But so you could do it and use it often in so many ways. And it's not only overcoming negative things. I've used it with people who play sports and use it as a powerful tool to reset their mind. A lot of that negative self-talk that we're talking about, you had mentioned earlier how our lives sometimes operate in a negative self-talk. Those are powerful things, because those are the things that maybe we didn't trust ourselves. We weren't able to trust ourselves because of events or people telling us, don't do that, be safe. And learning how to do the other things much better. Or once you've done something successfully, the great thing about that is you can do it again and again. It's a repeatable process.
I like that a lot. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
See, and I do tapping. I do that kind of
stuff.
Well,
it works similar to tapping. So it really is, because there's a lot of different ways to create delta waves. And that's really what that rubbing is for. It's not just rubbing your hands. it starts creating delta waves in your amygdala, which is the front part of your brain. That's your fight or flight response system. And there's a few other ways you could rub your arms if you wanted to, or even your forehead, and it starts to create delta waves. And
Okay,
by
so it
doing,
is like tapping, because typing is they hit these different things, the points
yep,
on you.
yeah. By your throat, yeah. There's a few different places, usually like your forehead, because it all works to your body, using your own body and trusting your body to know what's best for you and how to heal yourself, how to reset yourself using your body. No medicine, no anything other than you. As long as you're willing to let go, there's so much power within you. As Les Brown always says, you have greatness within you. You just have to let it out.
Yep. Well, and I was thinking about that because I just had a conversation with someone about casts and band-aids. People broke a bone and they say, "Oh, I got a cast and that's going to fix me." I said, "Is that a magic cast?" They do. "What do you mean?" I do. "Is the cast fixing you or is your body fixing you?" They do. "Well, I guess my body's fixing me." I said, "So what do you think the cast is doing?" "It's stopping you from messing with it so your body can fix itself." I said, "Same with the Band-Aid. They put a Band-Aid on when you get cut, not because it's a magic Band-Aid. It's to keep you from messing with it so your body can heal itself." So the same thing with the anxiety and the stress hormones. Your body can reset itself if you allow it to do so. I love that. I love that you brought that in because I just tied on that whole cast analogy I was
Yeah,
giving the other day.
that's a great analogy, because really what it is allowing your body. It's trusting your body. It's trusting the process. And that's where we always get caught up. A lot of us get caught up in our conscious versus our subconscious. It's, oh, I can't do that. That's a conscious protecting, right? It's Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We have to always go with self, safety and things like that. But the answer is our bodies really want to help ourselves. That's why we can have incredible healing when you allow yourself to shift and have that ability to soar. I mean, think about really when you're walking along a path and you might be lost, but if you start panicking. But what happens is if you take a breath and realize what you're there, the universe will bring you exactly what you need and where you need it.
I agree. But really, take a deep breath and sit back. But if you get out of that fight or flight mode, you can think better. Your instincts will tell you, get away from that person, or I don't like that, but we're so busy moving quickly or looking at what everybody else is doing so we can do it too, that we don't listen to our instinct that tells you, I don't feel right about this. Take time to analyze, take time to actually listen to yourself. And instead of fighting your instinct, listen to yourself. Because when we were both at the brink of wanting to give up, it wasn't our gut who wanted to give up. Our gut was like, I really don't want to do this, but nobody loves me. Or I'm such a pain to everybody else, or I'm a burden. That's not you. That's this.
That's right.
Thinking,
It's a conscious.
yeah, that's that comparison mode that we were in. So when you were making decisions, listen to your heart. That song, listen to your heart. But
Well, I won't
that's
sing that song, but yeah, no, and that's why I always go. One of the other things I always ask people when I do some presentations is find the R in your heart. And what I mean by that is when you think about it, the words earth and heart in English are the same letters, just rearranged differently. And when you can ground yourself and find the R in your heart, there's a lot of R words that really bring into you. So I do talk about the Phoenix Rise often. So rise is one of those R words. There's a lot of R words that really you can take it as empowering and figuring out. So it's always bringing back into your heart. And when you're really a heart-centered person, it really is so much easier because the heart speaks to you in ways the mind will always be fearful. And it's really that fight or flight response system that you want to kind of clear out a little bit, clear out some of those obstacles that you might have had. Because once you start clearing out those obstacles, you'll think quicker by actually working slower. I know that doesn't sound, proper, like when we think about it, but think about, and I've used this example before, like in sports, you hear about a football player. at the beginning of the season, they're like, oh my God, the game is working too quickly. And then by the end of the season, the same football player has said the game has slowed down. Or a really, like Tom Brady says the game works so slow. The game doesn't work slow when we're watching it on TV, but he's been trained so well. When you train your brain in the right way, you can really be optimized and do so much more and thinking so much more. I mean, look at yourself, Michelle. Look at all you're able to do where years ago you would have been like, I can't do that in one day. Forget about, a month or anything like that. Now you do it all in probably an hour, right? It's amazing.
Yeah. And actually, I planned it already in my head within an hour. It just takes other people to, I have to wait for other people to move the rest of it.
Yeah.
That's funny that you noticed that. But I did want to mention, do you see why I wanted David to come on the show? He has such a beautiful heart. I saw him at a competition, a speaking competition, go to one of his competitors and help her. He helped her. She got scared at the last minute, and he went and he talked her on the side, and he told her how wonderful she was and that she could do it and believed in her. And she borrowed his belief that he had in her, and she went on stage. And when she got scared again, she didn't look out anywhere else. She looked straight at him. And I said in my head, this is a man with a big heart. He is in a competition, and he was more worried about her getting on, and through that speech and showing what that magnificence that was in her, who she was. That was a beautiful moment, David. And when we come back from commercial, I want to go deeper into what you do with your give back that you do in your philanthropic community work, and get deeper into what you do in your communities and why you do what you do, because they've only seen a very fraction of who you are. And I want our audiences to meet the real David, the heart that I met and that all of us at the Ultimate Speaker Competition met. Okay? Are you ready for that? Yes, you're wonderful. So we will break for commercial, and David, stay with us. And if you're watching us right now, please share the live stream. And while we're at it, I want to say hi to Michael and Marcel while we're at it, and we'll be right back.
Juan Lu and his puppets face to face with special guests Makata Tawanan, Jess Box, and the Lunaria Marionette Show.
Alam mo, Nicolo, kung wala ako, hindi ka magsasalita. Alam mo, Tito Anlo, kung wala ako, nagsasalita ka nag-isa. Kung wala ako, wala kang masusuot. Kung wala ako, wala kang nakakain.
October 30, Sunday, 7 p.m. at the La Verdad Auditorium in Apalit, Pampanga. Buy your tickets now and see you soon, face to face.
Well, thank you for watching Mental Shift. Be sure to say hello and where you're watching from or ask questions in the comments. My name is Michelle Mras and you're watching Mental Shift. Stand by. So, do you know that TNC is a live stream platform of online shows for people on the go? So, watch all of our shows as you see here on the screen and imagine having your own show, your own playlist, your own content, but we'll make it easier for you. TNC aims to transform the lives of our viewers through engaging, authentic, and original content. Our vision is to become a global 24/7 live stream channel that showcases Filipino talent, global influencers, cultural intelligence, and ingenuity. Continue to watch Mental Shift live on Tuesdays at 7:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time and Wednesdays because it's the same time, Wednesdays at 7:30 a.m. in the Philippines. You can also watch the replays via Facebook or YouTube, and please follow us on Instagram. You can listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, so just search hashtag TNCNow. And for sponsorships, if you can just email now, so NOW at thenewchannel.com or send a direct message to the new channel. So enjoy these life-changing shows because we made them for you. And welcome back. I'm Dr. Michelle Mras, and you're still watching Mental Shift. And I see here in the comments that Katie Brooks put in a really cool acronym. Be a star. STAR stands for stop, take a deep breath, and relax. I love that. And where is my guest for tonight? Where is David?
Here we go.
There you are. Thanks for staying. Thanks for being with me. And now I want to get more into all the things you do in the background that a lot of people don't know about, because you are a community philanthropist. I mean, you do a lot of community support, and you co-founded an organization called Goons for Good. And that's for people who are in need of hope and resources. And you co-founded this. What was the mental shift that started that?
Well, there's so many different ways to give back. And one of the things I was lucky enough to do is meet Frank Shankowitz. And if anybody who doesn't know Frank Shankowitz, he was the gentleman who created the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And I would highly recommend to pick up the movie on Netflix called The Wishman. And it's his story about how he started the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And, really one of his messages when I spoke to him was that we all could do something, no matter what we have to do. It doesn't have to be just money. You have two hands. God blessed you with the ability to maybe paint something. You could do something to help somebody. And because we all could do something, we can make the world a better place. Find the things that you're passionate about. And that's why when I have the organization with a friend from high school, Morris Mayer, who gives back tremendously through his business and so many different ways, we created this Goons for Good. When we were kids, we called ourselves the Goon Squad, not in the way that we make it now, but we both have that New York accent. And I'm like, it'd be pretty funny to say, hey, a bunch of goons. Because usually when you hear about goons, even in Philadelphia, the goons, right, as tough guys. But how about the people that really go out and help somebody? And I use the phrase, with the goon squads, we all know somebody. We all know somebody who either needs help, wants to help, and doesn't know where to go. And that's the idea, is being the leader in so many different ways to find the way how to help people. Now, I know people in a lot of different communities, veterans, people who are home, food challenged. There's so many different ways that we can help people. One of the things I'm really good at is how do you eat an elephant? Eat it piece by piece. And by that, I mean, when a friend of mine's mother passed away, she goes, what do I do with this house full of stuff? I go, give me some time. What do you do with the clothes? There's always places, depending on what type of clothes, as long as it's, decent quality, you can always give it to so many different organizations that need it. Women who need clothes to dress up as they're getting back into their lives. They might not have the ability to have work clothes. If you're going on an interview, you don't want to go in a t-shirt and jeans if it's a professional interview. What do? I have a friend, William Anthony Dean, who is one of the co-founders of Pink Hands for Cancer here on Long Island. And what he does, he collects cans as well as other donations and uses it to help people who have overcome cancer, who are currently going through cancer. There's so many different challenges, surgeries that you might need related to cancer. Or how about when you can't cook and somebody needs to still provide food for your family? There's organizations like that. There are so many little organizations that make big impacts in their community. And that's the really important part about Boons for Good. We all know somebody and what we do with it. There's so many different ways to help. And when you think about that, that's where we change the world, because that's what we're here for. Muhammad Ali said, the price we pay for living on this planet is a service we do for others. And that's why I enjoy talking to people and assisting people through mental health issues, but also through other challenges. You get to know so many people. I'll tell you a great story related to my children. One Thanksgiving here in the United States, we went to a food pantry, and it was, in a lower income, mainly immigrant area. And a gentleman walked over to my daughter and said, "Can I give you a hug?" And, so as a dad, you want to be protective of your children. And we start talking. This gentleman was from Ecuador. And long story, he was alone for this Thanksgiving. We sat with him to have a meal, and we fed him. And the magic part, where the universe brings you exactly where you need to be, when he was talking, and he said, "Can I ask you your name?" As for my daughter. And it was my daughter, Jocelyn. And he started crying. His daughter, he had a daughter, Jocelyn, in Ecuador. So in a way, when I allowed him to give my daughter that hug, it was like giving his own daughter a hug. So you never know how you're going to show up. I've done that, a number of times where, you think you're going to show up to do X, Y, and Z, but then God steps in and brings you exactly what you need to do. Find those messages of hope in everything that we are able to do.
I love it. Our mutual friend, Ken, Dr. Smiley Rashan, says hope stands for hold on, pain ends.
Yep.
And we like to spread that around. And that's why we connected so well with you, because you are a bearer of hope. You're one of those hope, champions, where you hand your heart out to people to help them find themselves, that you believe so much in other people and you see the good in them and you help them. There's hope and beauty in that. And I really enjoyed having you. I was so glad when you said you wanted to be on my show. And I'm like, you said, "You sure you want me?" I'm like, "Of course I want you." That's what Mental Shift is about, is sharing stories like yours of people who have come from one side to another, from bad places to good places, and realize that, when we were in that dark place, we had no clue we'd be doing the beautiful things we're doing today. And aren't you so glad you made it through? Aren't you glad someone, even that unknown voice, told you, not now?
I am so glad. It really is that take a breath, as one of you, I think Katie had said. It's really when we're able to take that breath, so much more has the potential to come into ourselves. You hold your breath, think of all the oxygen coming in, and that's it's a kiss from God. It's getting that oxygen back into your lungs. And what can you do with that oxygen? How can you help somebody with that? By knowing what you've gone through. There's a lot of people who like to give out advice and go, "Oh, you should do this and that." They don't know what it is to be in those dark places. And then once you can get out of those dark places and know that you won't ever go back there, that's the power. And figuring out so many different ways to do that. That's the magic. And it really I really love talking about these type of things, because these type of shifts is so important, especially in today's world where we have so much negativity. We need to shift positively. We need to be louder, if anything, about more positive things, because that's what makes you feel good. When you ask me about charity, charity might help somebody or might make them feel cared about and things like that. But it also helps you, because when you help somebody, it helps too. It not only helps somebody else, but it helps you. It makes you feel good. I get addicted to it at times, where I would run all day long. And that's my goal, is to be able to do more charity work. Not only do I already do stuff, but, like the week right after our event, I had, we had 1,000 people in a park celebrating this this young woman who broke her neck and is paralyzed. She's a paraplegic. We had a band who volunteered their services, the Suburban Brothers Band, and my softball league. We had 250 players who then donated some money as well as time and items to be raffled off to help this young family. The family was so overwhelmed by the pouring of community just being there. Nobody had to do anything differently. Just show up is really so powerful. Is when we're able to show up, that just showing those caring moments, that helps somebody so much more.
Well, and as I see that is you did this event and you all came together to help this family. Think of all the people who weren't participating, who went, what's going on over there? Oh, they're helping this family. She broke her, and it domino effects. And when people see that, even if they're not part of that actual event and they hear about it, or they see it in the news, or they walk by it, it makes them shift, that small little shift. And then the next thing you know, they're opening a door for someone, or, letting that other car pass, whatever it is, some small amount of good gets ripple affected out, and it just keeps going and going and going. And that's why I wanted this show, Mental Shift, because we reach around the world to show that people go from one place to another. It's usually not the easiest path ever, but we come from the other side, giving back to the world. We're not going to the other side and doing, you know what? I think I'm going to be stingy with the rest of my life. Everyone who's ever been on my show gets on the other side and says, what can I give back? I'm so thankful for the life I have, and I want to give back somehow. And I want to give back in masses. So like with you as being a coach, you've got your podcast. I mean, Peace, Love, and Bring a Bat podcast. And the ripple effect of good that happens from a single good. And that is the power of good deeds and love and caring and just giving back to the world. Or as, Dr. Smiley says, the keep smiling movement. That's why he's doing that thing, is because we give back in waves. And so many people around the world, we think giving happens during the holidays. Giving is year round. Hunger is year round. Need is year round. It's just that one little tiny part around the Christmas holidays, people get a little more giving. My thought process, and I'm pretty sure you feel the same way, is every day that you wake up is a blessing and is worth celebrating.
Yeah, that's exactly how I believe. And there was a famous quote by Harry Chapin, the musician. If you're not sure of him, he here on Long Island also he created this food pantry, which is still operating. He's passed away a number of years, but what he said, he goes, what we should talk about in schools, in life, is like, again, Thanksgiving is, oh my God, children, you gave so much food for the food pantry, but what are these people going to eat next week? It's not only about one day. Every day, again, that breathing, we don't breathe just once. We breathe every day. And that's what we need to do, is make sure that at every moment we take a breath. And that breath, if it can't be for helping somebody, don't let it to be hurting somebody or helping yourself. Finding your breath. That's what I needed. When the world overwhelms us, you need to sometimes find the right people to hold that space for you. And that's what a mentor or a coach does, is you hold that space, that magical space, to just say, I don't care. And that's why I call myself a mentor versus a coach. There's no judgments as a mentor. No matter what you tell me, I just go, okay, we can make different choices. For me, a coach is sending in plays, telling you what to do. That might not be what everybody's point of view is, but I don't like telling people what to do. I can go, this is a different perspective. Look, I learned the perspective, and a lot of people said to me, well, that's wrong. And I believed it for a while. But you want to know, I don't care anymore. I'm really at the point, and that's why I don't mind talking about that I tried to hurt myself. I'm not proud of it. It's not something that I'm proud that I'm living. I'm proud that I can honestly say that I love myself now. But I have to also say that I learned from all the negative things that have come into my life, and that I could be proud of.
Good job. Now, there's different coaches now because I'm a coach, but what I do is I speak to you. I speak you through whatever's going through your head so that you coach yourself, really. I coach you through your thinking process and ask you so many questions that you answer yourself, really. And so that's really what coaching is about is I don't give you answers, but I'll ask you enough questions that you ask yourself the questions and you have to answer them that you do, wait a minute. Why am I thinking that anyways? And the reason I do it that way is because when you realize it, like you said earlier, you have to want it. You have to believe it. You can't look for the outside to feed it to you. It has to be in you, just like that air, that breath. It has to come and emanate from you. So any coach that you have that's telling you what to do, it's probably a sports coach, but a life coach or a speaker coach, any of those kind of coaches, they're guiding you through what's already inside of you. And mentors are guiding you through what they've already done. So that's why you sharing about the beta waves and the resetting is important, because as a mentor, and you wanted to hurt yourself at one point in time in your life, you've been there, got the t-shirt, figured your way, got your way out of it, and have moved to another level. And those are the two differences between coaches and mentors in my mind, is you've been there, you know the path. Coaches don't have to have been there. They just know the thought process through the path. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Gotta fix that. And oh, thank you, Helene. She says I'm an angel to her because I'm her chemo buddy. Yes,
You're an
we are.
angel to everybody. I mean, just a short time that we know each other, and just seeing what you do and the heart that you give is truly just a tremendous, beacon of light. When we talk about light and breath, you're a fresh breath of fresh air. You and I didn't know each other that night that we sat down and talked, and then by the end of the night, we became best friends. We were talking about everything and looking forward to the next conversations we had.
Yes, thank you so much. But that's the part of the process of growing through a lot of pain. Pain is growth. I like to say that to people, when they do, but it hurts, life hurts. I said, no one ever promised it was going to be easy. We come into this planet, we come onto this earth out of our mothers screaming. Our mothers are screaming, and a doctor picks us up by our feet and slaps us on our butt. It is not going to be easy if that's how we start off. So don't expect it to be easy, but it's survivable if you choose.
It's definitely survivable. I actually created a word called kluberty about this whole life process. And it's sort of like puberty, but it's not as much fun. Because we grow through the things that we didn't know until we learned better, and then you had to grow through them. And those changes, those perspectives, those are so powerful to grow through. And we are growing. We're human beings. Either we're growing or we're dying. And it's much better to grow, to be healthy, to have more peace within yourself, to have more love within yourself, and true love. When I talk about love, I talk about unconditional love. Because the unconditional love is not asking for anything in return. Don't return. It's all about just offering up love and asking for nothing in return. And when you go through a process of horrible things, and it's going to hurt, life is going to hurt, but coming through is going to find you that peace and love that is the most important parts of ourselves.
What was your word again?
Kluberty. It's like I have a clue. You get to a point in life and you get a clue. You're like, how'd I get here? I'm a good person. I need to experience kluberty. And it's one of the programs. It's a process I teach people how to get through some of their darkest moments in life to then come out the other side and really just enjoy life, enjoy themselves, find love. I've walked down streets. I sent flowers to people who I don't even know or I don't talk to, even though I might have known them at some point. It's not because I'm looking for something back in return. I remember this one time in Seattle, I'm walking by, and anybody who's not familiar with Seattle, they have that famous fish market where you see throwing fish, but they also sell some amazing flowers. I was there for a business speaking, and I bought flowers in the morning, and I walked over to some people just to hand them flowers and walked on by. Didn't say thank you, and I wasn't asking for that. It made me feel good. Same way as when you help somebody. I bet you those people still talk about that strange guy who handed me flowers, and I wasn't asking for a number. I wasn't asking for anything. I just was doing it because I wanted to feel good. And that's really, part of growth.
I love it. And I have to share a story. While we were running around, I think New York at this point, I was with Dr. Smiling again, and we were running through New York, and we were taking a train, and there were a whole bunch of very shady, scary people out front. And I said, let's not go this way. He goes, no, let's go this way. And we walked up, and there was gang members standing there and a whole bunch of homeless people. And it was terrifying to me. It's late at night, and he pulls out a Keep Smiling card. He hands it to this gang guy, and he says, just wanted to pass you a smile. And this gang guy, who I'm quite sure would have robbed us, looked at the card, looked at Ken, smiled, and said, no one's ever given me a smile before. Thank you. And then he shared it with all the rest of the gang. That whole group that looked like they were ready to rob us smiled and said, thank you. Can I have a card too? It was a game changer. It was something that simple. He handed out a smile written on a piece of paper. And so before Helene asked me, I'm going to sing something really, really quick. Do you mind?
Not at all. I love hearing your voice.
Okay. Well, when you said the greatest love of all is inside of you, right? So it's the greatest love of all is happening to me. I found the greatest love of all inside of me. And that's what we all need to look for. Find what you love what you find, and be the best version of you unapologetically. Stop looking on the outside for validation. David and I found who we are by not getting louder and going out, but getting quiet and looking in. That's the magic of finding your purpose. That's the magic of finding that love for you. I looked in the mirror every day, and I wrote on my mirror. Yes, I wrote on my mirror with a dry erase marker one thing I liked about myself every day, and I kept writing until one day I could read this whole list. Every morning I'd read the new list, and I had to embody the fact of why I was still here. If you need to borrow a belief from someone else in your family until you believe in you, then do it, because someone is waiting to hear your voice. Someone needs you in their world, and someone who's too shy to tell you needs you. So don't give up and keep being the best version of you every day. Right, Helene? Because I look for you every day. Helene, she's my chemo buddy. I always look for her.
She seems awesome. I'd love to know what we're talking about, all the purple root beer, and she was talking about a whole bunch of things. So I'm gonna have to look for it when I go outside. Look for the purple root beer.
Well, one of the things we giggle about is, there's an old song. He was a one-eyed, wine-horned, flying purple people eater.
Yep, I know that song. Yeah.
Yes. He eats purple people. Purple people are people like us, people who see the world differently, who are very kind to others and love each other, and see smiles and flowers and giggle at birds. Those are purple people. Those are special people, not grumpy people who are always blue and upset, right? Or red people who are always angry. We're purple. We're neither one of them. You see?
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're purple people. So I have to ask you a very serious question, David. You ready?
I'll get my serious face on.
Okay. We have about 4 minutes left, and I'd like for you to share some word of wisdom that you would like to share with the whole audience, because they are all out there right now. And what would you like to share with the world right now?
Well, you're a phoenix. I want everybody to think about the phoenix, the mythical figure that rises from the ashes. And what most people don't know, it doesn't die. It doesn't die from its ashes and then come back. It gets reborn from its own ashes. It lives through the process. While the life process might get ugly, might get difficult, You're going to rise. And I know you can rise. It's your time to soar. Because I tell everybody, I teach people that it's their time to soar. So just always know there's a phoenix within yourself. And by doing that, you're going to rise. Trust the process. Find the right path that'll get you to start walking faster, start running. And when you're able to run fast enough, you are going to fly because it's your time to soar. You have no other choice. How about that?
I like it. Mic drop. Now, how can they find you, David?
You can find me on social media, David Chametzky. There's not a whole lot. Chametzky is ChametzKy, including my website, which is David Chametzky. Funny name.
There it is.
But yeah. Okay, there we go. And, I'd love to talk to everybody for at least 20 minutes, teaching them their own reset button. I can teach you your reset button and help you through almost any circumstance, because I've already done that either through myself or with working with other people. And I'd love you to listen to my podcast. There's a lot of interesting people. So when I talk about peace, love, and bring a bat, not only am I going to share my love with you, but there's other people who are going to motivate you, who've also gone through horrible situations, but have shown the smiles, like Dr. Smiley. Giving a smile, sharing a smile, there's so much power in that. That's a great way to find it.
I need to get on your show still.
We have to work that out.
We got to work that out. So here's my thing for you all. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And David, thank you for sharing your love, your heart, and peace, love, and bring it back. Thank you for spending time with us today. I know everyone loved hearing you and learning more about what you do and how that whole reset is and how to find you on your peace, love, and bring a bat. And just look him up. His name is David Chametzky. It's on the bottom of all of this whole program, and you can find him. He's a great guy. I highly recommend you reach out to him and talk to him. And we'll see you next week, Tuesday, same bat channel, same bat time. And if you're in the Philippines, see you Wednesday morning at 9:30 in the morning. And what else? Until next time, go out there, be the best version of you. Pass one smile, one happy thought to someone in or your vicinity, because all it's going to do is domino effect to something else. You don't know how many hearts you're touching, just like David had no idea how big he touched that room when he helped that one speaker go up on stage. It was just beautiful. And he started a whole domino effect of love in that room. And I don't think he even realized he did. So everyone, have a great week, everyone. We'll see you next week, Tuesday. And until next time, be the best version of you unapologetically.